For a long time, I didn't think. I had a confidence problem. I thought I was just quiet, or careful, or maybe just not good with words. But deep inside, I knew the truth. I was afraid to speak, afraid to sound stupid, afraid to say something wrong, afraid that people would judge me, or worse, not take me seriously. And this fear followed me everywhere, at work, in conversations, when I wanted to express my opinion, and especially when I tried to speak English. I remember moments when I knew exactly what I wanted to say, but my mouth stayed closed. My thoughts were fast, my heart was beating fast, but my voice, silent. And the worst part wasn't the mistakes. It was the feeling after. That feeling when you go home and replay everything in your head. When I should have said this, why didn't I say that? I sounded so stupid. If you know this feeling, you're not alone. For years, I believed one thing. I'll be confident when I become perfect. When my English is better. When I stop making mistakes. When I sound smart. When people stop judging me. But that day never came. Because confidence doesn't come after perfection. Confidence comes before it. That was a hard truth for me. I used to think confident people were born confident. That they never feel nervous. That they never doubt themselves. But the truth is very different. Confident people feel fear too. They just don't let fear stop them. They speak even when their voice shakes. They act even when they're unsure. They move forward before they feel ready. And that changed everything for me. When we are kids, we speak without thinking. We make mistakes. We say strange things. We laugh. We try again. But as adults, something changes. We start to care too much. We compare ourselves. We judge ourselves. We want to sound intelligent, educated, professional. And suddenly every word feels dangerous, especially in English. Because now it's not just about language, it's about identity. We're afraid people will think, she's not smart. He doesn't know anything. Her English is bad. So we stay quiet, but silence slowly kills confidence. There was a moment when I realized something important. I was tired of being silent, tired of overthinking, tired of waiting for the perfect level. And I asked myself one simple question. What's worse, speaking with mistakes or never speaking at all? That question changed my mindset. Because when you don't speak, nothing changes. But when you speak, even badly, you grow. So I started small, very small. I didn't try to sound perfect. I didn't try to impress anyone. I just started speaking, sometimes slowly, sometimes with pauses, sometimes with mistakes. And guess what? Nothing bad happened. No one laughed. No one attacked me. No one cared as much as I thought they would. Confidence is not who you are. Confidence is what you practice. Just like a muscle. If you never use it, it stays weak. If you train it, it grows. And you don't train confidence by reading books. You train it by doing uncomfortable things. Speaking when you want to stay silent. Sharing your thoughts even if they're not perfect. Showing up even when you're nervous. That's how confidence is built. Not in theory, in action. Here's what actually helped me. I stopped trying to sound smart. I focused on being clear instead. Simple words, simple sentences, real meaning. I allowed myself to pause. Silence is not a failure. Pauses make you sound thoughtful, not stupid. I spoke even when I wasn't ready. Because ready never comes. I talked to myself out loud, yes, really. I explained my thoughts. I described my day. I practiced expressing opinions. This helped more than any textbook. I stopped apologizing for my English. No more. Sorry, my English is bad. Instead, This is what I think. That small change makes a huge difference. Here's something nobody tells you. You don't need perfect English to sound confident. You need calm, clarity, and belief in what you say. Some of the most confident speakers in the world make mistakes, but they speak with intention. Confidence is not grammar. Confidence is energy, and people feel it. What helped me the most was consistency. Not motivation, not inspiration, consistency. Speaking a little every day, listening every day, repeating phrases, using the language in real life. Even 10 minutes a day changes everything. Because confidence is built quietly, day by day, word by word. If you're listening to this and thinking, I'm too shy, I'm too old, my English is too bad, I'll never sound confident. Let me tell you something honestly. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are just in the process. Confidence doesn't arrive suddenly. It grows while you're trying. And one day, you'll notice you're speaking more, you're thinking less, and that's the moment you'll realize you've changed. Confidence is not about being perfect. It's about being brave enough to show up. Speak even if your voice shakes. Speak even if you make mistakes. Speak even if you feel unsure. Because every time you do, you become stronger. And one day, without even noticing, you'll say, I'm not afraid anymore. If this episode helped you, remember, confidence grows with action. Sometimes I think the hardest part is not speaking English. The hardest part is believing that I deserve to speak. Because deep inside, many of us feel like we're not good enough yet. Not smart enough, not fluent enough. So we wait. We wait until we feel confident. Until our accent disappears. Until we stop making mistakes. But confidence doesn't come before action. It comes because of action. I remember moments when my hands were shaking. My voice was quiet. And I wanted to stop in the middle of a sentence, but I didn't. And every time I didn't stop, something changed. Not my English, not my grammar, me. I started trusting myself more. I started caring less about mistakes. I started feeling free. And that's when I understood something very important. It's the moment when you say, this is me, this is my voice, and it's enough. And maybe that's the biggest misunderstanding about confidence. We think confident people never feel fear, but the truth is, they do. They just don't let fear decide for them. Confidence is not about being perfect. It's about allowing yourself to be imperfect and still showing up. There were days when I wanted to stay silent. Days when I told myself, maybe tomorrow, maybe when I'm better. The fear didn't disappear, only time passed. And one day I realized something simple but powerful. If I wait until I feel ready, I may never start. So I started speaking, not perfectly, not confidently, not smoothly. I spoke with pauses, with mistakes, with a shaking voice, and nothing terrible happened. No one laughed. No one judged me as harshly as I judged myself. And even when I made mistakes, I survived them. That's when confidence slowly began to grow. I stopped trying to sound smart. I stopped comparing myself to others. I started focusing on one thing only, expressing myself honestly.
And that changed everything. Because confidence isn't about sounding fluent.
It's about allowing yourself to be heard. It's about giving yourself permission to speak, even when your voice trembles, even when your grammar isn't perfect, even when you're unsure. And one day, without even noticing it, you'll realize that fear no longer controls you. You're speaking, You're expressing yourself. You're moving forward. And that is already enough. Thank you for listening today. If this episode resonated with you, take a deep breath and remind yourself, you're doing better than you think.